The Board of Zoning and Building Code Appeals is now called to order at 6:30 PM on March 19th, thank you, 2025. I ask the recording secretary to please call the roll for attendance of members of the board and also present.
Mr. Shelko,
Present.
Mr. Iafreda,
Present.
Mr. Fosselman.
Present.
Also present from the building department are zoning inspector Chris Hall. All persons in attendance are required to sign in the register sheet. If you have not done so already, please do so now. If you wish to speak at this hearing, you will be required to be sworn in as in any court hearing. At this time of the meeting, we normally will review the minutes from the last meeting, but due to the fact we do not have a quorum of members that were at the last meeting, we are going to postpone that till the next meeting. So we will proceed with the cases. All persons wishing to speak on this issue will please raise your right hand and affirm this oath. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you will give before this board is to the best of your knowledge an accurate and truthful presentation of the facts? If so, say I do.
I do.
Now in turn, please state your name and relationship to the case for the tape recorder and voice recognition.
Jeff Serto, architect.
Steve Baczynski, owner, Specialty Lubricants.
Jerry Grashewski, developer for the owner.
This hearing will be conducted in accordance with the provisions of the Ohio Sunshine Law. The notice of the hearing was duly published in a newspaper of general circulation in the city of Macedonia. The notice is available for review upon request at the building department. The rules of the board require an affirmative vote of 3 members in order to pass, regardless of the number of present at the hearing. The hearing is conducted in an informal manner to review the evidence and respond to questions. However, there is an outline of steps that will be taken in order. An appellate does not have to be present for the board to hear the published case. So I welcome you to just come sit right up here. It's the easiest. You can grab a couple chairs and just. Each case number and appeal request will be announced as it arrives. We have one case tonight. The first case is number 714, and the appeal form is in order. Is there any correspondence from the notified adjacent property owners?
No.
Is there any unsolicited correspondence regarding this case?
No.
Will the zoning inspector now please to state the city's position?
The Board of Zoning and Building Code Appeals will hear a request for an area variance at 8300 Corporate Park Drive. The variance request is to section 1171-11C regarding off-street parking spaces. The applicant is requesting a variance to have 123 off-street parking spaces instead of the required 236.
Does the board have any questions of the city? Any questions of what they read or the ordinance or okay. The board will now allow a presentation from the appellate. Please state your presentation in this case. Thank you.
Okay, so Specialty Lubricants is putting an addition on their existing facility, roughly 50,000 square feet. And in that expansion, it's generally used for manufacturing and storage is the purpose of it. And adding roughly 20 people, they think, due to the additional space. So currently, their parking lot has 123 existing spaces, of which they use a fraction of. The parking lot is 50% used.
At most, right?
Yeah. So there's plenty of spots for what their need is currently. So instead of adding additional spots to the facility, we're requesting a variance in parking spaces required to use the existing.
So right now you have 85 full-time employees.
I think it's 80, well, it might be 85, yeah, around that.
I just really recall.
Okay.
And you're gonna add 20, so which will take you to 105, and you're still gonna be short of 18 spots.
Right.
18 spots. You started off with 123, that was code for the existing building. So they adding 200, up to 236 because of the addition? Or,
I'm not sure what the requirement is for the existing building.
right,
I don't know that.
okay.
But for the total square footage of the building is 236.
For the
Correct.
existing and the new is 236.
So
And they were not the original occupant of that building when it was originally built, approved.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the proposed expansion, just for kind of information, it's just a warehouse or?
No, warehouse and production.
Okay.
Of those 85, or potentially if you're adding 20 more, 105, is that all in one shift, or is that across two,
It's
3 shifts?
That's just it, it's split up into 2 shifts also. Yeah, the second shift's a lot smaller than the first shift. There's probably maybe 20 employees at the most.
The 20 you're gonna hire, so first shift is 85.
No, the first shift is probably more like 60.
Okay, I'm thinking.
The 85 employees is over 2 shifts.
Okay.
So they're not all there at the same time either.
So our challenge is we have to find a practical difficulty. The reason that you are not able to perform what you want to do on this property because of the challenge you have. That if the code is not something that's up to the current standard or what we would look at today or anything like that, that's not, our job isn't to look and say what the code says, sorry.
Understood.
But we're trying to find a practical difficulty in this particular site on this property that would make it a challenge for you to add the parking. Is there any wetlands or anything, and I know this is probably a little out of where you were thinking, but
Yeah, because every other city is going the opposite way.
I-
As little parking as possible.
I get that.
Yeah.
But our code is for the
I
parking, and
understand.
it would be our council to change the code, it wouldn't be the Board of Zoning Appeals to change the code or do that. So I'm trying to figure, my first thought was, the building that's being added, could it be used in its addition for any other thing, you know, like a restaurant, or, I mean, would it be all sprinklered? I mean, is a warehouse built different than any other kind of establishment where there would need more parking? I guess that's where I would start.
No, I mean, you know, the majority of it, you know, probably a third of it's, the addition's gonna be manufacturing and the rest is all warehousing. You know, so it's like we're putting parking spaces down that we're not using at all now. And now we're gonna put more down that we're not gonna use. It just doesn't make sense. And, you know, the rest of the property, we'd like to keep for future expansion. And then, of course, we do have to put some more parking down. And if it came to a point where we needed more parking, we'll install it. You know, we have no problem with that. We just hate doing it right now to lay down concrete. That just doesn't need to be done. So, and I get where you're
I can
coming
empathize
from.
with you, but I'm trying to figure out how we can work this.
Right, yep.
What practical difficulty is in the property that makes it that you can't get what you're looking for to grow your business? And, do you guys have anything that I know you talked about numbers, so is it my understanding that the code is mainly from the square footage of the structure is what determines the parking?
The square footage of, and you can see there of office, manufacturing, and warehouse.
Well, at this point in time, and being an ex-manufacturing person, I know exactly where you're coming from. You're probably only using 60% of your parking spaces
That's it.
as such.
Right.
And it is an added expense, but can be added at a later date.
Yes,
Can be at a later date.
absolutely.
So. I don't know where we can go from here.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
If it inhibits their ability to expand, because it would take that space away from them. is that hardship.
Because at this point in time, I don't know how you're feeling or what your feelings are. But I think I would make a motion at this point in time,
Almost ready, but you could keep going.
if it's appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's discussing with
Yeah,
you two gentlemen.
yeah. So you're good with this, and you haven't had the some of the things. What are your thoughts about that?
So I actually went through this same situation with my company of building a warehouse, and I think we had 40 people all in a 200,000 square foot warehouse. And certainly came across the same situation where we had to go for a variance. But if we follow the intention of this board, I can see
Where our
trying to come up with
challenges-
a reason for practical difficulty. Well, when you were evaluating this site, was there any wetlands or any site conditions that would make it difficult in this open spot?
Not where the expansion is going, well, we actually have to put a water retention area towards the front, but not where we're expanding. That'd be more towards the road. Yeah, the biggest thing would be, yeah, you're taking up, area that could be warehousing for us, in the future, where that wouldn't even need any more place if it was just warehousing. And again, if we would need parking down the road, we put it in, we have the area to do that. It just seems senseless to do it now when it's just, now we're having to plow more, you got more runoff, you got more, just because of a quote that was out there.
Kent,
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna make a motion.
Okay, well, let's hear your motion.
I make a motion, we accept the variance that they are looking for. And leave the parking spaces at 123.
So let me throw something out there for your motion, before we ask for a second. I think it would be prudent for us to add that, if the functions of the proposed space or the activities in it change, that the parking would have to be reevaluated. I don't know if we can do that or not.
Pardon?
Say that if the functions of the building that's being added change, would we have to re-examine the parking or no? When we do that?
I think that is hypothetical, and I couldn't answer.
And the only other thing, I'm trying to add something in there to give it a little meat, maybe to maximize green space or something. Give us a hint.
Mr. Shelko, do I need to sign in so that I can say something then?
It would be good, we would appreciate it, and we're all looking for some help.
It was valuable.
Available, sit down. Well, been doing it for 40 years, man, I might have something there.
Yeah,
He did have
You can
his
see
hand
her.
up before.
he did sworn in,
Yeah,
so,
he did swear in.
I just don't want to swear.
that's been done, so.
No, we won't go there. I think to where the whole entire board is going to is they want to offer the variance. They know who the client is. The client has been a stellar business model in this community for years, and it's going to continue going. We see what the growth of the business has been over the years, and fortunately, they've been able to have that business grow and contribute to the community without having to expand their employees. So they'll have minimal employees expanding. So I think the prudent thing would be, Mr. Shelko, leave it as it is, as you have said, leave it at 123. You show the land bank parking in the future. If in fact they need the parking in the future, he's gonna be the first one to know, because we're gonna be coming back to you guys to say, we need to expand parking because Summit Soil and Water is gonna wanna make sure that the storm basin is of proper size. We'll make sure that that storm basin today is designed for proper size for the future parking. I think that's a good variation between the two. It gives you a good match. You know that the storm basin will be sized accordingly for future parking if in fact specialty lubricants are being included in.
Do you have room up in that corner to increase the size of the stormwater retention?
I believe so, yes. I think it'd be a win-win for everybody. We design it to go in for the future if they do need the parking. If they don't, you got more room for ducks. Just what you want, right?
Yeah, more geese.
More ducks.
I like the ducks.
Yeah.
I mean, Steve, Mr. Brzezinski would be the first one to know when they need
And we would,
increased parking.
we would add
Right.
it, need it, I mean, the last thing we need, don't need is, not having ample parking, we would, we need it, we're gonna put it in, so.
I think in that instance, you can make it a win-win for everybody.
Well, let's go with it. You still have your motion, do you remember, do you wanna, okay, we're looking for motions now.
I make a motion, we accept,
Case 714.
case 714, we accept, my mind's a blank. Don't get
That's
it.
okay.
Uh,
I think we're all getting to the same place.
That we accept. Give me a minute,
Do you want me to read what you said before?
please.
Accept the variance for case 714 and leave spaces at 123.
Okay, yeah,
All right.
This
that
is
we
good.
leave it at the, parking spaces at 123 can be added at a later date if employees are needed.
So, do we have a second?
Yep, second.
Okay. Case, recording secretary, please call roll for the vote.
Mr. Shelko,
Yes.
Mr. Iafreda,
Yes,
Mr. Fosselman,
Yes.
The motion is passed.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you
Very
very much.
appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too, thank you.
It's warm weather. It's gonna end in about
Thanks,
5
sir.
hours.
Spring comes.
I thought today was spring.
No, it's tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Chris, good seeing you. Thank you for your notes.
Thanks, Dick, appreciate it.
thank you.
Thank you, have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you for
So now,
I saw that, I
motion to
saw you
adjourn.
look down and you just
Any
got a
motion
blank
to
stare,
adjourn?
I'm like,
Come on, do new, make a
So
motion.
they put a motion to adjourn the meeting for
I'll
tonight.
second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Your first motion.